When I quit my job, my boss told me the list of clients I'd personally built over 15 years, many of them before I ever set foot in his company, legally belonged to him, and that I'd be hearing from his lawyer if I so much as called them. So I want to walk you through exactly what that list is and how I handled it, because he's telling everyone I stole from him. Am I the asshole? I'm 35, and I work in a relationship business, the kind where clients follow a person, not a logo. I spent my 20s building a book of business the hard way. Cold calls, favors, showing up, remembering people's kids' names. By the time I joined this company about 4 years ago, I already had a solid list of people who worked with me because they trusted me. That's not bragging. That's just the job. I brought that book with me when I was hired. It was, quite literally, why they wanted me. For 4 years, it was a good arrangement. I kept my clients happy. I brought in new ones. Everybody made money. My relationships with those people deepened. Some of them I've known for over a decade, long before this company existed in my life. Then a few months ago, things soured. New management, new targets, the usual squeeze. They started treating people like numbers, and a few of my longtime clients quietly told me they didn't love the direction. So I decided to move on. Go out on my own, cleanly, the right way. I gave proper notice. I offered to transition anything the company was owed. I wasn't trying to torch the place. I just wanted to leave. That's when my boss, I'll call him Grant, pulled me into his office and dropped the bomb. He told me that every client I touched while employed there was company property, full stop. That my entire book, including the people I'd brought in the door on day one, including relationships I'd built years before I ever met him, now belonged to the company. That if I contacted a single one of them after leaving, he'd sue me into the ground. And here's the thing. I'd actually read my contract. Because I'm not an idiot, and because in this industry you read the paper before you sign it. My contract had a non-solicitation clause, a real one, with an end date covering clients of the company. It did not say the company owned my brain, my history, or people I knew before I walked in. It didn't say I could never work in my field again. Grant was describing a document that didn't exist, and betting I'd be too scared to check. So here's what I actually did. And this matters, because kept the list can mean a lot of things. I did not export the company's database. I did not take internal files, pricing, or anything that was theirs. What I kept was my own knowledge of my own relationships. The people I already knew, many from before this job, whose numbers are in my personal phone because they've been in my life for years. I honored every real term of my contract. I sat out the non-solicitation window where it legally applied, and I let the clients who are mine do what clients do, choose the person they trust. And a lot of them chose me. Not because I stole them, because I'm the one they were working with the whole time. That's how a relationship business works, and Grant knows it, because it's the exact reason he hired me. Grant is now telling the industry I walked out and robbed the company. He's left out that most of those relationships predate him, that I followed my contract to the letter, and that the theft he's describing is a client picking up the phone and calling the person they've trusted for a decade. Now, I'll be fair, because I always try to be. There's a genuine gray area here, and I won't pretend there isn't. Some of those clients I did meet through the company, and there's an honest argument that those relationships were built partly on his infrastructure, his brand, his overhead. For the ones the non-solicit actually covered, I waited it out. But I get why, from his chair, watching clients leave feels like watching money walk out the door. That part isn't nothing. But here's where I land. My boss didn't ask me to honor a clause. He tried to claim ownership of my entire career, including a decade that happened before him, and threatened me with a lawsuit over a contract he clearly hadn't reread. I didn't steal a list. I left with the only thing that was ever really mine: the trust of people who knew me first. You don't get to hire someone for their relationships and then declare those relationships your property the day they leave. So let me read you the verdict. Top comment: NTA. They hired you for your book, then claimed your book was theirs the second you left. You can't have it both ways. Read the contract, follow the contract, keep your career. A reply: every client you touched is company property is a threat, not a legal fact. He was hoping you wouldn't know the difference. You did, but a fair one. Soft YTA on the fuzzy middle, clients you genuinely met through them on their brand aren't as clean as the ones you brought in. You waited out the non-solicit, so you're clear, but that bucket isn't 100% yours morally. That's fair. The ones I met there aren't as black and white, and I try to be honest about that. And the top reply of them all: a company that thinks it owns your relationships owns you. Your contract had a fence with a gate and an end date. He tried to describe a cage. Good on you for knowing the difference. So where's it at? I'm out on my own. The clients who are mine are with me, and I stayed inside every real line in that contract. Grant's still telling people I'm a thief. And I sleep fine, because I read the paper he apparently didn't. So you tell me, am I the asshole for keeping the client relationships I built when I quit, even though my boss calls them his? NTA or YTA? Be honest in the comments. I can take it. And if a job's ever tried to own the part of you that you brought to them, you already know this feeling. Hit subscribe. This channel's for you.